Women have been fighting for their rights since the mid-1800s. Women's movement groups started fighting after the Civil War in 1866, when all men were granted the right to vote, but women were not. Susan B. Anthony was a leader in the women's rights movements. She was the president of the National American Women's Suffrage Association. She brought equality for women to light and fought until her death, and hopes Congress can see the right for women's suffrage. She wrote and introduced the amendment to Congress in 1878. This set the path to women groups and activist leaders such as Alice Paul. Alice Paul was an American suffragist who became active with the country's radical suffragists while attending a training school in England. In 1913, she formed the Congressional Union to work toward the passage of a federal amendment. She led many campaigns and events to spread the knowledge of the need for equal rights. Her actions caused her imprisonment along with other suffragists. While they were in prison, they would go on hunger strikes and were subjected to force feedings to prevent death. Because if they were to die, this would only bring more light to the situation at hand. She formed the National Women's Party in 1916. Her actions helped bring about the passing of the 19th Amendment in 1920. She continued to work for equal rights and worked from National Women's Party headquarters in Washington, D.C. into her later years. The Women's Suffrage Parade of 1913 was the first suffragist parade in Washington, D.C. It was organized and led by Alice Paul. Thousands of women marched on the day before President Woodrow Wilson's inauguration to protest against the political organization of society in which women were excluded. The march infuriated many men, including police, of the crowd. The marchers were mistreated and imprisoned. This brought much attention to the government's role in women's lives. Alice claimed the incident showed the government was incapable of even protecting physical safety to women.
We have made partners of the women in this war.
Let her be.
Shall we admit them only to a partnership of suffering and sacrifice and toil, and not a partnership of privilege and right? I know the magic it will work in their thoughts and spirits if you give this thing to them that is mere justice. We shall need their moral sense to preserve what is right and fine and worthy in our system of life. Be assured, the voices of the radicals who agitate and disrupt have no influence here today.
Got him.
The task of woman lies at the very heart of the war. And I know how much stronger that heart will beat if you do this just thing and show our women that you trust them as much as you in fact.
Women have fought for many years to be treated as equals to men. They have come together and united to fight for what they deserved, and in turn gained much respect and recognition from the world. Women will continue to make substantial changes for our world now and in the future.
Of this amendment is a vitally necessary war measure? And do you need further proof?
The 19th Amendment became part of the United States Constitution on August 20th, 1920, 42 years after it was originally introduced to Congress. It states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex."